What's up, everybody? Dan here from Headwaters Kayak. Behind me, I've got a cargo bike, but that's not all I've got. I've got the new Trak 2.0 kayak, and we're gonna go pedal down to the river, set this thing up, and take it for a paddle. Let's get into it. So I figure, what's the point of having a really cool folding kayak if you don't do something epic with it? So we're gonna take this thing down to the Sacramento River, go try to find a wave to surf, and put the Trak 2.0 through its paces. So one of my favorite parts about living in Redding, besides the access to water, is the access to trails. Literally within 5 minutes of my house, I can have single track, paved trails, river trails, which makes getting around by bike super duper easy. So I thought, what better way to combine my two passions than to take my bicycle, load it up with a kayak, and go head to the river. The Buenaventura Trail. This will take us out of the neighborhood down to the river. I'm gonna go a little slower than normal because the weight on the back changes the handling, to say the least. Kind of cool from here. You can see the river, but this is also the wave I'm hoping to surf a little later. So that's our final destination. We're gonna paddle upriver to that spot and hopefully catch a ride. Sacramento River Trail. I think it's worth noting that it is middle of August. This is about as warm as Redding gets this time of year, so it's pretty dried out. Time to be on the river. So we're gonna need the speed of this kayak to get us up there. Oh, there you can kind of see the waves. Actually, let's stop. What I like about the Trak kayak is the idea that I can set the rocker for going upstream, have it track real straight, and then once I get to the wave, crank up the rocker, and hopefully it'll surf really well. Let's find out. Oh, this is new. They just repaved all this. This is nice. I haven't been on this side of the river trail because they were repaving it when I broke my foot. So this is my first time on here. And it feels really good to get out. Thank God for the electric bike. I don't think I would be doing this on my regular bike yet, but the electric bike makes it easy. Even with 75 pounds of kayak and paddling gear on me. All right, I've got power on number 5. I'm doing 12 miles an hour up the biggest hill. Pretty incredible. It's all downhill from here. Feels good to be back on a bike. I don't talk a lot about bikes on the channel because it's not a bike channel, but anybody that knows me knows that bikes are probably my first love, with kayaks is a very close second. So to be able to combine both like this is just so fun. It actually takes me back to the old days. I used to have this old bike with a canoe trailer. And then when I'd get to my spot, I'd throw the canoe in the water, break down the bike, put the bike in the back of the canoe, and then do a big old loop. Oh, it feels like a bit of a throwback to the old days. So with the bike, I'm realizing there's so many places that I could put in along the river that normally I'd have to drive to the launch. But with the bike and the folding kayak, I can literally drop in wherever. So if I want to just go grab a quick surf and not have to do this 2 miles of flat water, I totally could. But for today's test, I want the flat water. I want to get a good paddle in on flat water before we get to the currents, just to feel everything out. So let's try it. Here. This is the spot we did the Lake Redding Regatta at this weekend. So this is kind of our race course. It'd be a good spot to test this kayak out as well. It's my life jacket, all my paddling gears in this little bag. And this bike's so cool. We had this custom made when our kids were little. This would be like all of our backpack school supplies. You see the little handlebars back here, and the kids would sit in the back. Kids are grown now, so once in a while they'll hop on, but it used to be our daily driver. All right, I'm gonna get this all unpacked and I'll check back in with you guys in a second. Okay, I'm just gonna do a time lapse on this next part because there's 1,000 videos of somebody putting together a Trak kayak. I've watched a bunch of them. They would all be better than mine. So if you want to check that out, go watch one of those. I'll go ahead and link that in the description if you want to get that information. But for now, I'm just going to time lapse it. We're going to get this thing set up so we can go hit the river. All right, this is like probably my 5th time setting this thing up. Nice. And it gets easier every time. If you like this kind of stuff, it's actually super duper satisfying because it all just clicks together like an erector set. Really, really cool. Honestly, what inspired me to try this boat was a video part that Dubside did years ago on the Pacific Horizons video, where he had a folding kayak and he was doing all this cool Greenland rolling. And I found it so inspirational when I was a kid.
Never owned a car, never really wanted to own a car, and figured that kayaking wouldn't really work for me, any kind of paddling, until I discovered there were these things called folding kayaks. And I investigated that a little bit and sort of figured that, yeah, I could probably get one of those and take it on a bus or a train. So that's what I did.
So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I gotta go try some of this stuff out. I want to have cool adventures like what Dubside did. He used to take his folding kayak on the bus through Seattle to get to the water. And I was just like, dude, that's dedication. Here's a guy that is like about that life. And I just remember feeling super inspired by that. So if you watch my channel for a long time, you've heard me preach about bulkheads, sealed compartments, front and back, to give the kayak positive air buoyancy. Well, the Trak doesn't have that, but what they do give you is airbags. And what this does, it basically fits in the end of the kayak, inflates and fills up the space where water could otherwise get, kind of acting like a bulkhead. You will get a little more water in, but it's a lot safer, and the kayak will still ride nice and high even if it gets water inside. So out on the river today, the possibility of swimming is there. I definitely want to be prepared and be safe. So we're going to slide those in and blow them up. Okay, we're all set up, ready to rock. I got my PFD, my skirt. I tell you what, it took me longer to launch because of the conversations as opposed to the setup time. Setup time was about 20 minutes, but the conversations about people asking about it have been the last half hour, which I don't blame people. It's a pretty cool thing. So many people, when they see the kayak and then they see me on the bike, they're like, how did you? And then it just leads to a conversation. And no matter how quick I try to be, it always takes about 10 minutes of just explaining things like, wow, that's so cool. It is cool. Let's go see how it paddles. Yeah, I like this too. The backband adjustment right here at the cockpit. Thing fits like a glove. It almost feels like a Greenland kayak. A little bit high on the back deck, but still pretty manageable. Be an easy boat to roll, I'm sure. All right. There's lots to like about this kayak, especially if you're in a situation where you need a portable kayak. Say you live in an apartment or you have a transportation issue. This thing paddles and feels like a performance kayak. I mean, the hip pads, the cockpit, the coaming, the foot pedals, everything about it makes me feel like I'm in a traditional composite sea kayak. The overall stiffness and flex is pretty good considering, I mean, the fact that it's an aluminum frame, it feels pretty darn stiff for a folding kayak. It also has features like full deck bungee, full perimeter line. So a lot of the safety features you would expect on a sea kayak, this thing definitely has. One of the coolest things about this kayak is how the jacks can actually ratchet to change the rocker of the profile. So on the way up, I want it nice and flat. I want speed, so I can keep it nice and flat. And then when I get there, I can jack up the rocker and have a more maneuverable vessel. And that's the whole idea with this paddle today. I'll use all the speed I can get to the wave. And then once I'm there, jack up the rocker, hopefully drop in and get some surf in. Starting to get up into a little bit of current here. And man, I put some miles on this boat now and it feels so familiar. I can't think of exactly what it reminds me of, but it kind of has a profile, I guess, of like an eddy line, maybe like my Sitka LT, where it's just a real solid secondary edge. You can kind of steer it with your hips because of the hard chine. I have it in the flat setting right now, so kind of built for efficiency, which is sort of like eddy line, you know, not a whole lot of rocker. But man, it feels predictable, it feels smooth. I actually really like the little bit of bounce to it. My heels are soft on the bottom. All in all, very comfortable boat. It's snug, but it's comfortable. It's like a kayak that you wear as opposed to just sit in. But we're gonna start getting into some eddies soon, and the work's about to start. I'm using a Greenland paddle on the river today, which sometimes can be challenging. Sometimes it's nice to have that big blade and a deep stroke, but I really wanted to try this kayak out with this paddle. When I think of this kayak, I think of Greenland paddling, so here we go. Oh, this feels good. Have fun. As long as I can get the paddle deep enough, it has more than enough power. It's just when it gets shallow, I can't take those little surfacey strokes and get as much power. But all good, we'll get there. One of the things I love about the Sacramento River is just that you can be in a 16-foot kayak paddling upstream. It's a big enough river. And what I'm doing is I'm finding like the big eddies, like the main currents on the river right. So I swing over to river left, make my way up, and then maybe I have to like cross an eddy and climb a little bit to get into the next eddy on river right. So it's just like a big puzzle out here. It's really fun to get in here and do it on a sea kayak. One of the few rivers I know of that's actually kind of perfect for it. Like a 16-foot boat doesn't feel like overkill. And if anything, it's kind of what you need to have the speed to make your way upstream. Anyway, it's a great way to work out, great way to get boat control. Attainment practice. Upriver paddling's been going on in Redding for like 20 years. There's been a scene here. And it's just because it's the perfect river for this kind of thing. It's wide enough, it's forgiving enough. Plus at the top you get a nice standing wave that's perfect for sea kayaks. So I'm getting to a spot where it's starting to get a little bit pushy, like where I would want more rocker. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit my little lever here, and I want you guys to just watch the bow. See how that thing starts going up? Isn't that cool? So it changes the whole profile of the boat, making it a lot more maneuverable. I think that is the coolest thing about this kayak, is it's basically multiple kayaks in one. Yeah, and then it's just super spinning. Now it's not getting pushed around. Sure, I might lose a little bit of speed and efficiency, but more than makes up for it in performance. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, we're at a spot I like to call Rejection Rapids, because there's no easy way to get up here. It's just all you got, no matter which way you go. It's just hard. So we'll see if the Trak can do this. This will be the first big test. There's this line, kind of a seam between currents. Oh, I get swept further in there than I wanted. So I sweep out into the main current, and then I paddle like hell to try to get up. Oh man, I don't know. So much work to go 30 feet. That's how it goes. It's like interval. You paddle like hell to get over the shelf, and then you got the eddy, cruise up the eddy, on to the next one. Good time. I almost feel like I have a current pushing me upstream, taking me to the waves. Looks so fun. It's a tricky wave because sometimes it's real defined and green, but at other flows it can be real bouncy, and I never quite know what I'm going to get. But hopefully we'll be able to get this on a wave and surf. We'll see. Here we go. This part always makes me a little nervous. I don't know why. It's just hard to do it and get up there and get on the wave. There's lots of boat control you got to do in between. But I'm hoping the more rocker gives me a little bit more control. I missed it, but we'll get it. So close. Reset. There's no doubt it'll handle rough water because that's pretty turbulent. All right, this one's it. I'm running out of battery and energy. This one doesn't go. Oh. Come on. Yeah. That's all. It's a tough wave today. I gave it all. Really happy with that. Wish I could have got a better ride for you guys, but definitely a fun test nonetheless. Well, it was sure fun showing you guys my little backyard playground, being able to ride a bike to the water with my kayak, go for a paddle, and I'll still get a nice cruise home. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm sure this won't be the last we see of the Trak kayak on the channel. I love what this kayak's about, the portability, the fact that you can always have a high performance kayak stored with easy access is very cool. It opens the doors for so many people that maybe want to get into the sport but are just limited on space, storage, transportation. If you want to learn more about Trak kayaks, they have an amazing YouTube channel, an amazing owners group, just an amazing community around the brand in general. So check them out, trakkayaks.com. They also have Trak pilots like myself that have demo boats available. So if you're wanting to check one out, hook up with Trak, they'll connect you with the Trak pilot like myself. You can come out, demo one of these, and if you decide to buy it, they'll ship it right to your door. You know, I'm taking this apart, and there's one thing I didn't touch on, is the quality and construction of every part of this kayak is just top of the line. Like, it looks like something you would find in a NASA spaceship. I mean, look at the attention to detail on the frame. So sweet. Here's a look at the frame out of the boat, foot pedals. It's basically just a skin-on frame kayak, just like an old Greenland kayak would be, except for using modern materials. I just love the concept of this thing. I can't wait to go out and have a rolling day in it, take out my Greenland paddle and just sort of connect to that side of things too, because it feels like a traditional sea kayak from an era gone by, performs like a real sea kayak. It's definitely the most unique, one-of-a-kind kayak I've ever tried. I mean, it does have some drawbacks in performance, but I think the coolness factor, the uniqueness, the ease of use for a lot of people that don't have the ability to transport a big kayak or store a big kayak, I give it 2 thumbs up. I would say quality, 10 out of 10. Innovation, 10 out of 10. Performance, I would maybe 7 out of 10. It's not quite, up there with a hard shell or a fiberglass or a composite, but it's still really good. It's still really fun. Anyway, if you have any more questions, do me a favor, leave them in the comments below. If you want to check one out, I'm now a Trak pilot. I've got this one in the demo fleet. Come on up to Reading. I would love to show you around. We'll go for a paddle. I think that's it. Until next time, this is Dan wishing you happy paddling. Let's get this thing put away. Go for a bike ride.